It's been a crazy night. You got Mother Nature's not happy right now. I can tell you that much. The power's getting ready to go out. The wind's still whipping, man. The wind is really whipping. And I don't know what's going on. We got major fires going on. The wind is like I've never seen it before. It's kind of chaos. It's been going all night. And it's kind of freaky, man. You'll probably be able to hear it in a minute. Let me see how my angle is here. I gotta go work in this crap too, man. There. Alright. Probably can't hear it because the heater's still on, but let's turn the TV on for a few. Yeah, I'm just a little concerned here because
ash everywhere.
I mean, it's crazy right now here. It's crazy in California here right now.
Try a couple of things. To be clear, you have evacuated, yes.
Yes,
Power might go out. I don't know yet.
And I think, you know what, Crystal, you know what I'm talking about? We do this as a living report, so I kind of have the bug in me, and I just couldn't stay in bed anymore, and I got up at 3:30, and I got in the car.
There's a damn cat meowing
what's going on
out there, meowing all night. I don't know whose cat it is, but
okay.
I got up one time, went out there with the flashlight, couldn't find him, and then I heard him, man. He's screaming for help.
Because so many times people see these images on TV, and if they're not directly affected, they're a bit emotionally detached. For you, it's the exact opposite. You're living it. Walk us through how you're feeling. What is next?
It's an incredible range of emotions. You, Megan, myself, Kirk, we all, every year, and especially when we get into fire season, we tell our wonderful KTLA viewers, listen, be ready, have a go bag, pack up your car with your prescriptions, with your paperwork, your documents, things that you need and that you have to have with you. And we did that, but we had to do it within 3 to 5 minutes. And it's so strange, it's scary, because you can smell the smoke, you can hear the fire engines, the police cars. And my neighborhood is typically very quiet. You can hear a pin drop at night, but yesterday at around 7 o'clock in the evening when we had to leave, it was chaos. Everyone was running to their cars with their belongings, their pets, their animals, birds, dogs, cats, everything. And fortunately, people were courteous. Cars were allowed to go in front of other cars, and it was safe. But it was all of a sudden like a freeway being right in front of your home with just hundreds of cars trying to get out at the same time.
Stays on.
And you know, emotionally, you're saying your prayers. You really are. I just said, please God, don't let this take our house, our neighborhood, our friends, and you know. And then I looked at the street, and we have a convalescent center about a block and a half away, and I can see it sometimes, but there were so many brave firefighters and Pasadena policemen who were there taking, you know, people who were in their 70s, 80s, 90s in wheelchairs and getting them to...
They will just let you hear the wind for a bit. You can hear it just rattling shit, man.
said, Kai, we're so glad that you're okay. We're so glad to hear your community and your immediate area is okay. And stay
getting
safe
hammered,
out there. We
dude.
appreciate you taking the time to call us. We want to go back out to our Carlos Herrera, who is live in Eaton,
Power's
at that Eaton
flickering.
fire in Altadena, talking to a resident there. Carlos.
Hi, good morning. We're speaking with Luis Garcia, who lives just a few blocks away. We're on Allen Avenue in Brookbear. Your home is okay this morning. You're part of the evacuation orders, obviously, and your wife and your son are now in Alhambra with her parents, but you're staying behind.
Yeah, staying behind, just keeping an eye on the house, making sure whatever I can do, whether it's a little Amber, I can take care of whatever. I'm just sticking around, making rounds. I've already helped a few neighbors clear some stuff.
You're one of the very few people we've seen this morning that are staying back and are protecting their homes. A lot of people are saying, you know what, let the authorities take care of it, I'm going to go.
Too much can go wrong. Honestly, the winds are too strong. I don't trust it. I mean, as many trucks as you can put out here, you never know.
The wind is shifting fast. They're very strong. You don't know where the embers are flying. But what goes through your mind when you think your house is part of this?
I keep a safe distance. One side of my street you can't leave. There's a tree that fell over. You can't really drive out that way. So the other way, I'm just kind of keeping a safe distance and seeing what I can do. I mean, we packed up as much as we can, taking a few loads, and
It's just heartbreaking.
yeah, it is.
You've lived here for 4 years. You walk these streets, you hike these trails on a daily basis almost. Things are going to look very different when the fire is out. Eventually, when the sun comes up, many of these houses are not going to be there anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be a totally different picture, and I also think it's going to get a little worse when the sun comes up. I think the winds are going to shift and stuff's going to go the other way.
Have you talked to any of your neighbors? Do you know of any of them losing their house? What do they tell you?
Yeah, all my neighbors evacuated around 6 times. My wife, like 8 p.m., 9 p.m., something like that. Haven't talked to them since.
8 p.m. And we were speaking with fire officials. This area was actually okay last night. The fire was turning in a different direction.
Boy.
Fast
That
forward
sounds
to
like
this morning,
shit.
and it's a totally different story now.
Totally different story, yeah. I don't know what to say. It's pretty nuts.
Multi-million-dollar homes burning to the ground too.
Lots of them, dozens, a bunch of them. Yeah, it's sad.
And these firefighters really tried their best to save these homes, but there's just not enough resources, not enough manpower, because the wind is so strong and they're shifting and the embers flying everywhere. And you can't.
It's too unpredictable. Yeah, too
If you want to
unpredictable.
hear it,
Really.
listen to this.
Live in
The whole place is shaking. I feel like I'm in the middle of a freaking tornado or a hurricane.
members, the wind gusts that we get through this area. Again, many people that we talked to, unlike Luis, saying, no, we gotta evacuate, this fire is different, this Santa Ana wind event is different. Let's let the firefighters take care of this and do what they can to save my home. Very few that we've met this morning are deciding to stay back and protect their homes. Really is not much they can do, honestly. Firefighters are having a hard time putting these out, protecting homes. We know they prioritize structural protection and there is a strategy in place for that, but they're having trouble because of the resources. Not enough manpower to do that. We were over on Braeburn Road just earlier. That's the neighborhood we showed you. Those houses actively burning, actively multi-million-dollar homes destroyed, burned to the ground. That area was okay just last night, and the fire shifted overnight, and now burning closer to the foothills. And these homes also have been destroyed. You can see the charred hillside as well, through the darkness as well. We can only expect this fire to continue to grow, more structures, more homes, more buildings to continue to burn as well. LA County Fire Department really trying their best and doing what they can to protect homes, to protect property, to protect lives. But there really is so much that they can do. They're hoping folks really heed these evacuations. We've been seeing the sheriff's department, local police departments as well, knocking on doors, letting people know, hey, you gotta leave. Many who left last night are now coming back and checking on their homes, and they find that they're actively burning, like the gentleman we saw earlier on Braeburn Road just a few minutes ago. He checked on his home and it was burning, and he was devastated, crying on the ground with his wife, and it really is heartbreaking to see. We can only expect this to get worse. Chris and Megan, we'll leave it with that. Send it back to you.
All right, Carlos Zura, thank you so much. And it was really compelling to speak with someone or hear from someone who isn't leaving, who is, feeling compelled to stay and ride this out as long as that they possibly can.
However, we should mention LA City Fire. We spoke with Margaret Stewart earlier this morning. She tells people, please don't do that, because
Right.
sometimes it can interfere with what the firefighters are trying to do.
Yeah,
So
right.
you understand both sides.
Yeah, I'm not judging it.
For
I'm just
sure.
saying it was
Yeah.
compelling talking to you.
Yeah.
Let's go
And
to
Yes.
Go ahead.
Chris and Megan, if I can interrupt, I'm sorry, I'm glad you mentioned that, because again, I want to stress, there are very few people that we've met this morning, or we've seen actually, and that tells you that people are listening, are evacuating, they're leaving, they're letting the firefighters, the authorities handle this. Very few people like Luis Garcia, who we just spoke with minutes ago, they're deciding to stay back. So again, that's a good thing. People are listening to authorities and doing what they can to not interfere.
And what firefighters will tell you is, okay, you've chosen to stay, but if it gets really bad, you're going to rely on us to come save
That's
you.
right.
After you chose it, and now you're putting their lives in danger. So that's where they're coming from with all of that. All right, Carlos Zura, I know we're going to be checking in with you in
Go,
just a little
Chris.
bit. Let's bring in meteorologist Henry DiCarlo. And Henry, I think the important question is now, how strong are the winds that we're talking about, and how long are they going to last?
I think that's the big question. How long are they going to last? We're going to have some semblance of strong winds all the way through the evening, and some spots all the way through tomorrow morning. I think we have this almost false sense of security that once we see the winds hit their peaks and then start to decrease, then obviously our fire concerns are going to decrease. That's not necessarily the case. We know that we've seen Santa Ana conditions with wind gusts of 30 to 40 and had major fires. So the point is this that I'm making for Los Angeles, so for Pacific Palisades, Silmar, Altadena, you're in the midst of your strongest winds overnight. We're going to see a little shift in the wind pattern after sunrise. I think by about 10 o'clock, we'll see 10 o'clock this morning, we will see a dramatic downturn in the wind gusts in these areas. However, I feel that the way things are aligning up, we will see those winds not really diminish. Yes, in those areas, they're just going to shift to other areas. Those of you in through Orange County, Riverside County, where the winds have already been ferocious, some of the strongest winds, we could see some wind gusts and some of those higher peaks up to 80, 90 miles per hour. So again, when we start talking about decreasing winds, that doesn't mean we start talking about, okay, the worst is over. No, because these winds are still so strong. What's really making things tough, and Eric talked about this earlier in his live shot when he said for firefighters, it's really limited. It's almost amazing they're able to do anything. I mean, the conditions out there are absolutely ridiculous to try to fight fires. They're doing the best that they can do. But those strong winds, my point is, will be shifting, or at least the stronger winds will be shifting into Orange County, Riverside County,
Great.
San Bernardino County. So what is my point in telling you this? And we've heard it not only from people, not only
It's a
from
long
that
day.
are in the that are experiencing fires right
It's a
now.
long day,
but also
man.
our
I gotta go
reporters.
work.
It is so
I
important
gotta
to
work
be
in this
ready,
shit.
set, go. Even Kai talked about that. When these fires start, and we would be naive to think that there may not be, that the fires are done starting. I mean, the potential for more out there this afternoon, unfortunately, in other areas is out there. So that to be prepared, be ready. You don't know if you're going to have a minute to leave, an hour to leave. Maybe you're fortunate and you have a few hours in advance to plan. But you need to have a plan. When you're in these types of situations, you panic. And it's just human nature. So make sure you're thinking ahead. Have that travel bag, things that you might need, necessities, toiletries if you have to leave the house, obviously important documents, your pets, human life, the utmost importance. but almost put together a list of priority. If I have a little extra time, where are those photos that I want to get? So again, this is I'm speaking ahead for the morning hours, the afternoon hours, when these stronger winds and start to shift into other areas of Southern California. Unfortunately, we are not looking for 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock this morning, where dramatically we're just going to turn off the winds and that is it. This is very unique. And that is why heading into this, for at least a couple of days, the caution was out there. Hey, we have the possibility of one of the strongest Santa Ana wind events. We need to take it serious. And one of the issues, not just so much the strong winds, but just the length of these winds. Even when they start to diminish in the intensity, we're still talking 30, 40, 50 mile per hour winds and wind gusts that will extend not only through the afternoon today, but overnight tonight through tomorrow morning. And that still poses obviously a threat for future fires, but also makes things very difficult for firefighters who are already stretched and thinned out with these 3 fires, and now we have the potential for more. So to put a bow on all of this, the winds will still be aggressively strong. By about 10 a.m., I do think that those of you in through Pacific Palisades, Sylmar, Altadena, you will notice the winds dramatically starting to taper off, but we will see windy conditions and we'll still have active fires, and firefighters will have to contend with those winds that are still out there. But then our attention will go to other areas, especially San Bernardino down to San Diego. San Diego may end up getting the worst setup of all of this. Right now, looking ahead to the afternoon models, San Diego, some of those peaks could be in excess of 100 miles per hour with winds. So again, we're just almost moving our main fears from one part of the state to another part
100
of
mile an
Southern
hour gusts.
California.
Holy
So
shit,
this is
man.
going to be a tough day.
Fucked up.
And the best advice I can give is really this. For those of you that live in areas with fire threat, you need to be at least passively thinking, what's my plan of escape? What am I going to take with me with a limited amount of time? Think ahead. Better to put it all away and not have any problems than to be panicked and leave stuff behind.
Very smart. Thank you, Henry. We appreciate that. We want to switch gears and talk to LA County Supervisor Lindsay Horvath. She is on the phone with us right now. Lindsay, thank you for taking the time on a very, very busy and disturbing morning. What sort of message do you have for county residents?
The most important message is your partnership looks like following evacuation orders. Not only does that keep you safe,
Doing okay,
but it also
man.
keeps our first responders safe who are on the front lines, really trying to
We
get
got,
the
like,
fire under control.
crazy
protect
winds
their
and
property,
fires
protect their
going here.
communities. And so we need people to evacuate to keep themselves
We're
safe.
talking like
and,
100 mile an hour
give
wind
our
gusts.
communities a
It's
fighting
been going
chance.
all night.
Commissioner Horvath, I know that yesterday you were part of a news conference that was held
Tired.
that explained what was going on, what we can expect, the scope of everything. I know there's another news conference happening at 8 a.m. today. Do you have anything you can tell us
I gotta go
now
work in this
that might
crap.
be new and helpful?
Damn it.
Yeah, so we know that we have several thousand acres burning in a Palisades fire, more than 500 in the Hearst fire over in Sylmar. Both of these fires are in my district, just to get a sense of how
Power's
big
kind of
these
flickering
districts
too.
are. We know that.
I'm kind of worried about leaving my pad here.
School district is closed today. Kenner Canyon Charter Elementary and several others are closed today. Palisades Charter High School, as we know, is not
I'll turn the
currently in
TV off so
session.
you can hear it. Yeah, I'm safe. My pad, knock on wood, my pad's doing okay. I'm just worried about when I go to work if everything's gonna be okay. There's no fires here, around here where I'm at, fortunately. But you'll be able to hear the wind in just a minute. We've never had wind like this before. I don't remember ever having wind this gnarly. For sure I will. Thanks, Raphael. Appreciate it, man. Yep. There's a lot of damage going on here in California. I'm worried to go see what I'm gonna have to deal with at work. Nature is not happy right now. Probably hear my windows rattling, right? I'll do the best I can, bro. I'm gonna have to go driving it here in a little bit. I'm not happy about that, but somebody's got to go to work, right? There's a cat meowing out all night out there. I had to get up and go outside and look for this cat, and I couldn't find it, so that thing kept waking me up. Some cat's out there terrified. He's not there yet. He comes in at like 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. I'll be there before him, so he don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm security because we have to go in whether there's chaos there or not. Because, this is far from normal. This is far from normal wind, far from normal fires. It's bad. It's really bad. It's all these commies. Mother Nature's pissed at all these commies that are here in California. Take a look outside, huh? Shall we? Let's see what's going on out there in sunny California. Not as bad as it's been, but they come in gust. The wind comes in gust. Man, that's cold too. Shit. Yeah, man. It's no bueno. No bueno. No bueno, I say. Damn. It's gonna be a long day in the office, bro. It's gonna be a long freaking day, man. But I'll have you guys here on live with me until I go to work. I don't think I'll be able to keep the live going in my car because I don't think I'll get a good enough signal. But yeah, appreciate that, man. Let's get the TV back on. Let me get my coffee. I'm on my second cup of coffee.
Same thing happened last night. I was hoping earlier in the evening, they were talking about cutting off the wire because of the impending windstorm. Apparently they did.
And so you packed up all of your things. We're looking at some of them here. I see you have, Michael, some of your frames here. Talk to me, come over here and tell me a little bit more about, we've been talking about it all morning long. How do you grab? What do you grab? It's so hard to decide.
Okay. I got off early yesterday afternoon, and I knew it was going to be bad. And I knew, so I figured, well, I didn't want to get caught unexpected. So I staged everything in the garage. I should have packed it in the bed of the truck, but I didn't. I figured, well, I'll just kind of wait.
These people are getting evacuated.
So at 10 o'clock, when this incident happened and shorted out,
over there in
I
Silmar.
just started packing frantically, as you can
You've got
see.
your blankets, you got,
I got my guitars, I got some clothes, I got some
Guitars.
clothes, just
I'm gonna have to take a dump in a
anything that I
minute.
value, they put in here. The rest, they can,
and I know in
Oh,
in the
nice.
Sayre fire, you said you were living here, you lost everything.
yes. Came out with one cat, 2 pit bulls, and 3 kitty cats. That's all
Oh,
we got for it.
And your family was okay? You-
Yes, we came out unscathed. We were grateful for that. But, that
But
was
you rebuilt, I mean, it was something like, what, 480 of the 600 mobile
Yeah.
homes were lost?
Approximately 200 were destroyed. So we rebuilt in the same spot, and,
And now you were scared it was gonna happen all over again.
well, there was always that possibility, but we really like this community. It's a beautiful community. It's well.
no, not a good
You're just about
situation,
to
man.
put
But
your
you know
feet
what, bro?
on the
That's
sofa.
nature.
You sort of.
Mother Nature for you when,
This tranquil enclave.
you know, when you least expect it, can bite all of us in the ass, man. Mother Nature.
It's just like, it's quiet, it's peaceful. Families will walk, moms with their strollers, there's kids, there's elderly folks. It's a very, very nice.
Having said that though, you know, we're looking up at that canyon,
Yeah.
we're looking at that fire, what is your biggest concern? Do you feel like, I mean, the firefighters that we spoke to
Well-
on this street, literally right here,
Well,
outside of your
the
home,
you
they're
know,
confident
the humans
that
have
this is
been
going
playing with it
to
quite a bit.
stay a little bit of ways
You know
from
what?
this
It
community.
could turn around and bite us all in the
But you still
ass.
have obviously that fear that this wind could bring it back towards us.
Mother Nature is the most powerful force on the planet.
Judging by the wind, we're okay. It all hinges on the wind. If the wind can change.
Right. I'm gonna blow some wind here out of my ass in a minute.
Directions, the wrong directions, then we'll have to flee.
You were very sweet. We met you because you were walking down this
Oh
street
my God, this
offering
coffee's so good.
water in the restroom.
You know what? No, my
These
luck, the
firefighters
power will
were
go out when I'm
staged over
taking a
here,
dump
they've
or
got their
taking a
hoses
shower.
out ready to go, and you were offering that. You said you stayed the night actually in your home, even though it was under evacuation order, but you had
Probably
your truck
the
packed
TV
and ready
going.
to go to drive out if you needed to.
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
Were you not concerned overnight that you were too late past the evacuation order and you might get stuck in a
No.
sticky, hairy situation?
I got my flashlight
No,
charging
because
though,
at
okay,
that-
just in case.
At that point, most of the residents had already left, so there was very little traffic, hardly. Plus, there's another exit on the east side of the park.
Sure, I'd be like, what are you doing after this interview, lady? Let's go
We
check out
changed
my
directions.
bedroom.
So if I'm eastbound, back to the park, I could just head on out in front of the flags.
You know, we just were talking to one of your neighbors here who lives at this mobile home park, and a lot of folks have been kind of trickling in on foot or in their cars completely packed to the brim with their belongings, trying to come back to their home to see if it's still standing, if they're gonna stay, or if they're gonna leave. Is that sort of what you've been
Oh,
hearing in
man.
this
I didn't
situation in your
sleep good,
community,
dude.
that
Oh.
they're just kind of weighing what to do?
Poor
at this
little
point?
cat was outside all night meowing all night, man. I felt bad for it, it's scared. I went out and looked for it and I couldn't find it.
Now that, dawn's beginning to break, they are probably anxious to see how things are going.
Someone's
What
cat.
are you gonna do, you think?
Well, I'm just gonna hang out and watch the flames.
He's gonna roast marshmallows.
Still
That's what he's
afraid
gonna
to leave
do.
in an instant. So it's just, we'll see what happens, If things go sour, we're ready to go. And if we get through this unscathed, we'll be forever grateful, and we'll continue living here in this wonderful, beautiful community.
It's why you stayed after the 2008 fire, right?
Of course,
And rebuilt.
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Michael, thank you so much. I'm so glad you're safe. You're so sweet to be out here offering folks water and restroom and anything they need.
And you folks do a great job. Give my
Thank you
best to
so
all.
Oh, and they're touching each other now. Oh, yeah.
Thank you so
They
much.
start making
Thank you.
out.
Please be safe.
Hell
Please
yeah.
be safe. All right, guys. We're gonna watch and wait and do exactly what everybody else in this community.
Oh, shit, I need a
is
hug
doing, is
before I
that is
die.
Look at those
Let's
plans.
start humping her like
See
a
which
dog.
way the wind pushes them here in Selma. But for now, we'll send it back to you guys.
Police!
Come in and get me, hot top.
Mandatory evacuations! Officers going door to door after a mandatory evacuation order was issued. This about 6:20 last night. This is at the Altadena home of our audio engineer, Eric Pierce. Eric says his family is okay, thankfully. We do have updated numbers right now on the Eaton fire. CAL FIRE has the acreage right now at just over 2,200 acres. That is up from 1,000 acres overnight.
2,200
We do expect
acres,
it to
ain't
get
that
even
bad.
larger. And we want to show you this video again as well about 95 senior living residents. They had to evacuate last night. We're going to show you that coming up shortly. This was, the video is from the terraces at Park Marina due to the Eaton fire.
All right, let's live look though. They switched the video on us. This is actually from our Mount Wilson cam, looking down on the Eaton fire.
Gotcha.
So that's what we're looking at right now. That's a live look. You can tell by the way the trees are blowing, just how strong the gusts are. Henry DiCarlo, what are we talking right now in terms of gusts and the strength of those gusts?
By the way, I want to mention those residents, those senior residents are all doing okay. So we'd love to hear that this morning.
And boy, last night, if you were watching, KTLA, you could see them trying to get the
Yeah.
it's just
It's heartbreaking.
it was the amount of people that were out there helping and just how quickly they were able to do that. Great work. But to answer the question about the wind gusts, very tricky because with wind gusts, we'll see the strongest gusts high up in elevation where we don't have obviously residences, buildings, things of that nature, but it still fans out. So when we talk about these zones where we have active fires, we're still talking gusts of 40 to 50 miles per hour. Those sustained winds, 22 to 30. So it's the gusts that are really tricky for firefighters. If they can at least account for sustained winds and direction, it gives them a really good idea of how they can stay ahead of things and look down the line a little bit and be prepared for any further movement. But it's the gusts that come and they go and they change directions, and that is what makes things extremely tricky. We're still looking at 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. We're going to see this through the morning. I would say by about 9, 10 o'clock, we'll start seeing the winds, sustained winds, maybe go more towards 17, 18, wind gusts maybe 35 to 30. So that will signal at least a change to better conditions, but not great conditions, still challenging conditions.
Start lighting up.
Humidity at 15%.
That's good.
We
By
do see
9 a.m.
humidity generally rise a little bit overnight, even though it's a
I
strong
think the worst of
offshore
it's
flow.
over.
The atmosphere
It
does
was
pick up a little
whipping
moisture
last
from
night,
the ocean
man.
onshore
I mean,
effect
whipping.
at the surface, so that helps. But my point in that is the humidity will continue to lower after sunrise. So it's not just about the wind, it's about the low humidity. And even though this is not a hot Santa Ana wind event, it is warmer than average, so it makes things extremely difficult for firefighters with the low humidity and the wind gusts that will still be with us. And again, I do want to mention this. Just because you're in areas that are not affected, at least as far as fires are concerned, Orange County, Riverside County, San Bernardino County, I do expect the winds in those areas to actually increase during the morning and at times during the afternoon. And that is where we will see an uptick in at least danger. So even when the winds psychologically feel a little bit better to us because we're saying, oh, they're starting to lay down, they're still very aggressive, very strong, and could create very damaging and dangerous conditions. So we're going to be doing this all day long, possibly into tomorrow. And be talking about other areas of concern as these winds really slowly just shift from one area to another.
Henry, thank you so much. I want to show you now powerful winds making it really dangerous for folks to be on the road this morning, especially in high-profile vehicles. We were going to be showing you some video of that. There you go, in Fontana. 30 to 60 mile per hour winds caused several big rigs to overturn overnight, including a FedEx truck. It flipped on its side on Interstate 15 near Sierra Avenue. Several trucks also overturned on Interstate 210 near the I-15 interchange. Only minor injuries were reported, but it is a reminder that if you do have to be out on the roads today, as Henry mentioned, the winds are going to continue throughout the day. They are going to be strong. You need to be extra cautious.
There was reports of some trucks tying themselves to guardrails so they wouldn't tip over. That's how extreme it was along
That's crazy.
All right, in Los Feliz, winds knocked a large tree down on top of moving cars, trapping the drivers inside. You can see it there. It happened on Hillhurst Avenue near Melbourne Avenue. Witnesses say a Jeep and a sedan were driving southbound when the tree and power light pole came crashing down. Witnesses say Good Samaritans helped to get the drivers out. Also in Los Feliz, the strong winds toppling a big tree onto parked cars on New Hampshire Avenue. No one appears to have been hurt. The city crews that have to come out and remove all of these downed trees can be very busy, they say, in the coming day.
In Hollywood, a power outage overnight left more than 2,200 customers in the dark. An affected neighborhood is near the area of Vine Street and Franklin Avenue. Crews are working to restore power and expect to have it back on by about 8 this morning. But really, it was a similar scene all across LA County overnight. According to the LADWP, about 130,000 of their customers are without power. We also talked to SoCal Edison this morning. They had about 83,000 customers with power shut off as well, and those were.
I'll try to keep the live going when I get in my car to see if it'll. You can see what I see driving to work.
Traffic mornings we've had in some time. Let's get over to Ginger.
And you know, you guys were talking earlier about some of those big ones.
We shall see, right?
You know, at the top of 2 or right at 2:30 this morning, we discussed that, right? That Fontana, Rancho Cucamonga, Rialto, and some of those areas where we know we have those strong winds. I mean, even when the winds aren't that strong, you are affected by them, especially if you're in a high-profile vehicle, you're towing something, you're in a semi, and those winds
Well,
will
at least my truck is
the good news
pretty
is we don't
low
have anything
profile,
active
man.
right now,
So,
but we did
I don't know.
earlier
I
this
think I'll
morning.
be all right.
This camera shows us the drive if your plans take you in
I'm
or
starting
out
to
of
prairie
Santa
dog,
Monica. It
though.
doesn't look like any cars are let through for now. That our understanding is still the east. That would be the cars that would be coming at us. That is the open spot. That actually is the westbound side where you see vehicles. Those look like emergency vehicles to me, but the westbound side is closed at Lincoln Boulevard, and
Whoa,
you see it.
shit, my
And
lights
then
are
you cannot
flickering.
continue onto the McClure Tunnel. And I think part of it also so that they could get some of these units to the scene that need to get to the fires, whether they are heading into areas of Malibu, Santa Monica, obviously the Pacific Palisades as well. And then we know there are a lot of closures.
See my lights
on
flicker?
Malibu Canyon Road at Payuma, PCH, Topanga Canyon Boulevard, all those closed as well. We want to remind everybody about something that we've been discussing.
What's up,
because of
Samaru?
the Hearst fire.
We're getting hammered over here with weather.
The 5 freeway south and northbound side connectors to the 210 east, those are
Raphael.
closed, okay? So
Sammy, Raphael.
14, those remain open as you move through the Newhall Pass. You need to head into Pasadena.
Sammy's in Australia.
North Hollywood is some of those spots, but if you normally travel by south to the 210 east, you will not be able to do that in the 210
Raphael, I
east.
think you're in
And
Brazil,
westbound side
right?
are closed between Roxhurst and the 5 and vice versa because of the Hearst fire and some of those surrounding streets will probably
Sammy's
be
a
shut
good
down
bro,
as well.
man. He's a good
So
dude.
this has been an interesting situation because Sunset Boulevard that's closed at Temescal Canyon Road over to PCH.
Wow, listen to
That
this
closure
shit, guys.
yesterday.
You guys are gonna listen to my pad with me, all right? It's freaking rocking and rolling here. We got like 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts here, Sammy, and it's cold. Fires breaking out everywhere. All right, sounds like it calmed down a little. Oh.
Night hours, and Henry's mentioning that they're only going to be kicking up even more. I know that there are different stretches of the 15, the 5, the 8, all in San Diego County that are going to be affected by the winds, but also by fires, and then some parts of the 5 through Oceanside as well. So you know somebody heading into those areas will be a big deal. But really, the bigger story to me would be for our friends heading into Elsinore as well as Temecula.
You guys want to watch me take a dump?
We're to keep track
All right,
of all
let's
these
go.
things. We're reminding everybody of things they shouldn't do, like
I'm
take
kidding.
pictures
I'll be
on
back.
busy stretches of roadways. I'll send it back to you, Megan Chris.
Ginger, thank you. We want to go back out to Eric Spillman, who is live at the Pacific Palisades fire, where last time we were joining you, the winds had really picked up. It looks like they died down a little bit, but tell us what the situation is.
Well, you get gusts every now and again, but what a scene of devastation here. We're on Papas Rica Street at Ocampo here. This was one of the most beautiful sections of the Huntington Palisades, and this morning, numerous homes here have burned to the ground. This one is completely gone except for some steel beams. But let's take a walk further down here and we'll show you what else is happening. From my vantage point here, there are about 15 to 20 homes that are either burning or have burned to the ground. Many of them with cars still in the driveway because people didn't have time to remove them. And there are firefighters here. They're doing their best to protect what homes are still standing. And Meredith, watch out, there's something in front of you here. I'm gonna move you that, yeah. There's debris all over the place here. But take a look at this very large two-story home, and these are extremely expensive, multi-million-dollar homes. And this one fully engulfed it. We've seen this all over the street. I would say probably 60 to 70% of the homes on this street are burning or have already burned to the ground. I mean, as an example, look across the street over there at that corner. That one's gone. And there's several more down the street that are also gone as well. And again, there's firefighters here really from all over the state doing their best to save what they can. But with the situation that we faced here with these howling winds, blowing the embers horizontally, there's not much they could do. Also, water has been a problem in the Pacific Palisades overnight. Water pressure from hydrants, especially in Palisades Village. There was a problem getting the kind of water pressure that firefighters need. But to be truthful, when you take a look at this fire here, or these fires, you know, in many cases, there's not much the firefighters can do. When the winds are blowing 50, 60, 70 miles an hour, the embers are traveling several miles, perhaps, in the air, catching new homes on fire. There's just really not a whole lot that you can do. I mean, there's no aerial support. It's not safe to fly helicopters overnight. Hasn't been safe to bring in aircraft since about 8 o'clock yesterday. So there's not that many tools available for firefighters to use. And again, you could put water on one house and try and put that fire out, but the flames are creating these embers that go over the top of you and catch the next home on the other side on fire. So it's just kind of like an impossible task that they're faced with. And, you know, when the sun comes up in a little while, we're really going to see the scope of the devastation here. We don't have an accurate count on exactly how many homes have burned. There's another one across the street, or maybe that's two. It's hard to tell where one property starts and the other one starts or ends when the homes are gone. You know, it's hard to know what's what. But yeah, from just this one section that we've been at this morning, I mean, I want to say, you know, like I said, 50, 60, 70% of the homes on the street are burned to the ground. And we haven't really traveled around the rest of Pacific Palisades to know there goes a big piece. Things just collapse when the houses burn to the ground. You know, pieces of them occasionally come to. You hear a crashing sound. That's because a large portion of house is just collapsed, and I'm sure just burns to the ground. And I want to take a minute and talk about insurance, because the next stage for these homeowners is going to be filing a claim, and that is a very long process. You know, to rebuild a house like that, if people are intending to do that, that's a process that is enormously frustrating. It takes years. I mean, we've seen it so many times. People in Malibu have faced that over and over again, and you know, it's a 3 or 4 year process. And we have an insurance crisis here in California as well. I don't think we've talked about that very much, but you know, people have trouble getting homeowners insurance in California, even people who don't live in fire-prone or hillside areas. And I want to say that Pacific Palisades is what I would consider to be a hillside or fire-prone area. I mean, yes, there have fires here, but it's not like Malibu or other places. And with this kind of disaster here, multiple, perhaps hundreds of homes that have burned, I mean, it's going to be very difficult to get homeowners insurance in Southern California, even more difficult than it is right now. And that's sort of another aspect of this disaster that is really going to affect all kinds of people, not just the people who've dealt with total loss. And yeah, I don't know what the answer is for that, because what's happening with insurers is they're canceling, or not renewing, I should say, policies for people even when they don't live in hillside or fire-prone areas. And this type of situation here, where you're going to have a huge, who knows how many billions of dollars here have been lost. They're going to have all these claims. That's going to make it harder for insurers to want to insure sort of regular homeowners in Southern California. That's another aspect of this to think about. At any rate, for the immediate future for these folks is to come back here, and the sadness that we see so many times over and over again when people come back to their homes and find that there's nothing left but a chimney and there's nothing to recover at all. There's no belongings to get. All the memories are burned. And how to handle, the next steps. Where do you stay? Where do you live for a long period of time? Should you rebuild? What is your normal life? What is the new normal going to become for you? And that is what these homeowners are going to be facing here once we get through this. And I'm reminded of the early 90s, where we had a period where there were major fires that burned hundreds of homes in several days, and this
I got the
one, we had
zoomies.
major fires, and we had again that situation
What's up, Jason?
like this, a kind of an insane windstorm where there was really nothing.
No,
that the
Gavin
firefighters
Newsom's
could
a
do.
piece of crap. He hasn't
And
offered
that's
nothing.
what we're facing now. At any rate,
He offered the
very,
middle
very
finger.
sad.
That's about it.
And you hate to see it. Again, this is one of the loveliest parts of or it was one of the loveliest parts of Pacific
Was.
Palisades, the Huntington Palisades, and this particular street, Pampas Ricas. For those people who are familiar with this neighborhood, it's just the most
I'm gonna
beautiful
get
street.
breakfast
It's got
going.
this center median with these
Bring you
palm
with me.
trees and
Gotta
it's just
eat something.
gorgeous
You know what I
homes.
mean?
And most of it is gone. So we'll stay here, keep an eye on what's going on, and let you know. But that's pretty much all there is to say. We'll send it back to you.
Right.
Eric Spellman, thank you
See how
so
that
much. The devastation is just, there's so many layers to it. We'll check back in with you coming up shortly. If you're just joining us, it is 6 a.m. We appreciate you being with us here on the KTLA 5 Morning News. We have been on the air for,
Nonstop.
hours and hours.
Nonstop.
Yeah, nonstop here at KTLA. If you're just waking up, an unprecedented fire emergency in Southern California has caused catastrophic damage all across LA County overnight. 3 major wildfires have forced more than 50,000 people to evacuate. Residents in Pacific Palisades, where Eric was, residents in Malibu, parts of Pasadena, Altadena, Arcadia, and Sierra Madre are all under mandatory evacuation orders this morning. The fires are being fanned by those 30 to 40 mile per hour winds. Gusts reported, at over 80 miles per hour in some spots.
1,400 firefighters are battling the flames on the ground, but the use of aircraft, and you probably noticed this, was stopped before 8 o'clock last night because of the winds. That's also why we don't have our helicopter in the air to show you aerials of what's going on. The winds are just too strong. Plus, with President Biden in town, there is
President
what's
Biden.
known as a temporary flight
Fuck
restrictions, so
guy.
we can't cover it for that reason as well. But hopefully, both of those will be lifted
Figures.
in the future. One firefighter has been injured. Multiple
Probably
people have been
planned.
burned in the Palisades fire. An estimated 200,000 homes and buildings are without power across Los Angeles County. Specifically,
Joe
so far,
Biden.
Edison
I
has
hate
told
that
us they have
motherfucker.
83,000
Piece of
customers
shit.
in 5 different Southern California counties who don't have power.
I don't hate a lot of
It could
people,
take
but I hate Joe Biden.
24 hours to get power back on, so be ready for that.
There are dozens of school closures today because of the fires. All Santa Monica and Malibu schools will be closed today due to the Palisades fire. And the Eaton and Hearst fires have led to the closure of 18 school districts, including Alhambra, Arcadia, Azusa, Baldwin Park, Duarte, El Monte City, Glendale, La Piñata, Los Virgenes, Monrovia, Mountain View, Pasadena, Rosemead, San Marino, South Pasadena, Temple City, and Valle Lindell.
Los Angeles Unified School District has closed 7 schools for today. They include Cantor Canyon Charter Elementary, Canyon Charter Elementary, Marquez Charter Elementary, Palisades Charter Elementary,
Gonna sneeze.
Paul Revere Charter Middle School, and University High School.
And here's a list of college closures: Santa Monica College, Azusa Pacific, University,
Whoa.
Glendale, Community
Fucking place is
College,
shaking.
Pasadena City College, and Caltech. All of these colleges closed today as well.
For the Palisades fire, evacuations have been expanded to East Kinder Avenue and north to Mulholland Road. The evacuation order is still stretching south to the
Golden
Pacific Coast Highway
Razors.
area and west to Topanga Canyon Boulevard. For Santa Monica, an evacuation order has been issued for everyone north of San Vicente Boulevard between Ocean Avenue and 26th Street. An evacuation warning has been issued for Santa Monica between Montana Avenue and San Vicente Boulevard. The Westwood Recreation
begin
Center
deep.
is now serving as a shelter, allowing residents to remain overnight. Also, it is accepting small animals.
All right, we want to go out live to our Megan Tellis, who is covering the Eden fire in the Sierra Madre area. She's giving us the latest from the ground there. Megan, good morning.
Yeah, Chris and Meg, good morning to both of you. You can see behind me, we came here thinking a home was up in flames, but in fact, this is a new community about to be built. You see the framework of a lot of homes starting to, and it goes all the way up. You see the flames over there to my right. This is going up. We're at the corner of, the corner here, Barker, and I'll have to get the crossroad, Baldwin and Carter, I want to say. As you can see, I just talked to some firefighters who've been here since around midnight, and they're just monitoring the scene. They're not trying to put out these flames over here. They said these are just pallets that are going up in flames, they're letting that do its thing. Embers are flying, and if you go again to the left, Patrick Highway 9 and County here, you can see on the hillside here in Sierra Madre at the very top of Baldwin here, you can see that the fire and the flames seem to be crawling down, and the sirens coming now. But again, firefighters down here on the base of the road just kind of monitor the scene to make sure that the flames aren't expanding north, south, east, or west. But it's just interesting to see here. You mentioned all the schools that are closed in this area today. 2,200
Blueberries, bananas, peanut butter, raisins, and honey.
Not a huge difference when you
And then I'm gonna
much
do
further east over here.
mix it with
The
oatmeal.
winds, I'll say, they have not been as strong as I felt last night. Much calmer when it comes to the wind speed.
Yeah, the wind's not as bad as it was like around midnight.
This fire.
I actually got a little scared.
At around 6:30 last night, only 10 acres burned, that's what was initially reported. And then they just burned, by 8 p.m., 400 acres burned. As of this morning, 2,200 acres burned, more than that, and it is growing. So again, firefighters, take a look at the scene, see them hanging out next to the fire truck there. They are just trying to make sure that everything is okay in this community. It doesn't seem like any people currently live in this community. Some of the homes.
Well, that cooks. I might as well make my lunch, right?
Half of the homes in this area that were up and coming, some of the properties have been sold, some were for sale. But at this point, at what I'm saying.
Sourdough, cracked wheat.
It is up in flames this morning. So whatever was started here, they're gonna have to start from scratch again. You come closer to the flames, you can see just what this piece of land looks like. But the good news is, unlike a lot of the visuals we were seeing overnight, you're not seeing people in this community having to evacuate. There are a ton of evacuation orders in the
I'm sure it's gonna be chaos at work.
Altadena
Well,
area.
make my day go by faster.
A couple of minutes ago, and he is,
And
where I am.
today is my Friday.
Which is just
Yay.
210 in Pasadena. And I am probably the furthest east that we have here today. Again, we are here in Sierra Madre. So here we go. This is what's happening here. We're going to keep an eye on the fire. I don't want to get too close here, but you can see this is what's burning this morning. Firefighters paying attention to what's happening on the outskirts of these flames here, making sure that nothing does expand beyond this point. So that is the very latest out here. We send it back to you, Chris and May. And we're going to see that hillside burning. So we understand more homes are on fire. And we will bring you the very latest in just a little bit.
All right, Megan Tellis reporting live from the Eaton fire, one of the 3 major fires, or even more than that, burning throughout Southern California. But the 3 major fires are where Megan was, the Eaton fire, of course, the Pacific Palisades fire, and then the Hearst fire, which is burning right there, kind of like if you had to pinpoint it, the crux of the 210 and the 5 freeway up in the hillsides over in that area. Henry DiCarlo, the winds are driving all of this. What can we expect both now and moving forward?
You know, the winds are still going to be an issue through the rest of the day. When we're dealing with winds as strong as we've been dealing with, even though we're talking about winds diminishing, we're still talking about major Sandana.
Crazy day, I'm sure.
My point is, yes, I think psychologically we're starting to feel a little bit better in these places. We've heard and we've seen from the live shots from Eric Spillman, Megan Tellis, that the winds at least appear to be starting to taper off a little bit. We still have the strong gusts that come up, but overall, those sustained winds appear to be, and that would make diminishing, and that would make sense because between now and about 10 a.m., we do anticipate the winds will dramatically start to taper off, not diminish and end completely, but the strongest wind gusts will finally turn the corner on that. That does not mean the system is dying out. It just means the system, these upper level lows, that working in unison, bringing us this very strong offshore flow is just slowly shifting off towards the east. I still anticipate where Orange County is seeing some very strong winds, the Inland Empire, Riverside, San Bernardino County. I do think you will still find there will be pockets of really strong winds throughout the afternoon, and I think as we may see at least some of the fire concerns ease a little bit in through Ventura and parts of LA County, certainly Santa Barbara County, we will increase at least our concerns for Orange County, the Inland Empire.
It's gonna get worse here, because I'm in Orange County.
Just shifting these stronger winds, moving away from the coast, moving off towards the east. So many communities in through Ventura County, Santa Barbara County, you can start feeling better. Malibu, you can start feeling a little bit better. And again, I don't want to say you're completely out of the woods because the winds still shift and get gusty and change direction. But with each passing minute, the main core of the winds start to extend off towards the east. San Diego County definitely will be looking at strong conditions. You know, I just got a report to Divine, please in my ear if you could tell me, is it Coachella? I may be getting a report of a fire in Coachella, which would take us out towards Indio on the border of Riverside and also San Diego County. So I'm going to try to, if I can get some, and again, I mention this because I'm starting to get concerned about those areas eastward in through Santa Barbara, Riverside County, Orange County.
Oh, don't say Orange County.
Concern. I just want those areas.
Fire, 10 acres is for instance.
10 acres, which means it just started. With these winds at 10 acres, this is probably something that just started within the last 15 to 30 minutes.
Oh.
This is in the Coachella, not Coachella Valley, but in Coachella.
It is, yeah, it's Coachella, Tyler Street and 47th Avenue.
Okay, so we're talking out towards Indio. Those of you familiar with the Coachella Valley, you know exactly what I'm talking about, but this does speak to what I was talking about earlier, that my main concern, the concern is across the board. I'm not saying I'm any less concerned about any of these areas, but when we start focusing on these winds diminishing where we actively have fires right now, that is great news for firefighters. That does not mean that we can all start taking a little bit of a breath and feeling, okay, the winds are over. They're not over. They're just shifting. The main strength is now going to intensify in through Orange County, San Bernardino, and
Great.
Riverside
Did you hear
County.
that?
So those areas,
Did you hear that?
Again,
It's gonna get worse here, Orange County.
what am I
Fuck.
going to do? It's the old ready, set, go. I cannot tell you how important that is. Even if you have to inconvenience yourself for 30 minutes this morning to get some proper paperwork together, get your medicine together, maybe an overnight bag. Again, not trying to alarm anyone, but we don't know where these things are going to pop up. And we do know within the last 15 minutes we've had one that has popped up in Coachella. So those areas that I mentioned, we know where they are, where they're prone to fires. Winds are still going to be an issue, guys. Issues will still be, winds will still be an issue. And even when they start to taper off a little bit, we're still dealing with 40, 50 mile per hour winds, which are damaging and concerning. And that's what we'll watch throughout the morning into the afternoon. Ginger, let's send it over to you, and we'll get any updates. I'm sure things are looking a little rough out there. A lot of debris on the roads too.
Oh man, I mean, we're talking about the debris on the roadway that you have to dodge, and then of course we have those strong winds. I just want to mention really quick as we look at this real-time traffic map of the 10 in Santa Monica that there is an evacuation order that's fairly new, just issued for anybody who lives. This is for Glendale, Chevy Chase Canyon residents, so you cannot proceed anything north of Chevy Chase Canyon.
Camera
You
on my
cannot
pad.
advance and continue into
I'll be worried
Santa
at
Monica
work.
proper. You cannot continue onto PCH, the California Incline, all that shut down. Now, if you want to go east, coming off those areas, and then going east in towards, say, Brentwood, West LA, you're okay to do that. The westbound side closed again at Lincoln Boulevard. I mean, if you want to take, Olympic and Pico and some of those other streets, those are still open and available. Still worth us mentioning that 5 freeway. Remember, the southbound closure has only the connector road to that 210 East, right? Because they don't want you to run into the Hearst fire. But you see those massive delays that are really starting to form. If you have plans to be on 5 or 15 freeways, definitely affected by the connector road being closed. And then the 210, the closure for you will be between the 5 over to Roxford and vice versa. 5 northbound side, that closure again, you cannot connect to the connector road to that 210 heading east. So here's a look if you're heading out of areas of, say, Eagle Rock, and then you need to continue towards JPL, towards Altadena, not necessarily in towards Old Town Pasadena, but the closure 134 East to the 5 to the 210 westbound connector roads, that's what's shut down again, not so you will run into areas of that Eaton fire. This is something new that may not be related to the fires. 5 north at Culver Drive, it's our understanding that the 4 right lanes are now closed for your plans heading into Irvine, and that's
That's
because
not
of
far
a very
from me.
serious crash, but they are anticipating it to
Lots
be
of
here
crash.
for a little bit. And you already see some massive delays that are starting to form. We do have a lot of fires in a whole bunch of different spots. We're trying to cover as many bases as possible and letting you know about some of the new closures that have popped up. Remember, the
Thank you,
ones that happened
Ginger.
yesterday, whether it's Sandy Canyon Boulevard, stretches of PCH between Los Flores and Tabasco, all of those are still in effect, and it does look like the 210 freeway is still open and available unless you want to continue in towards Altadena. We're going to keep our eyes on all these things. Public transportation, there are some areas that are affected, but for now anyway, in terms of like the L line, you should be good to go into areas of Pasadena. We're going to keep our eyes on these things. I'll send it back to you guys.
Thanks,
All right,
Ginger.
Ginger, thank you. An update now on the Eaton fire burning in the foothills, just right there in the Altadena, Pasadena area. The city of Glendale has also issued an evacuation order for Chevy Chase Canyon in Glendale. They are instructing residents to evacuate south on Chevy Chase or via Emerald Isle. An evacuation center has been set up at the Civic Community Center. Also, all of Lock and Yada Flint Ridge has been ordered to evacuate due to severe wind conditions and the fire. Everyone living in that area being told to leave now. Our Annie Ramos is heading there from the Hearst fire in Silmar. She's now moving to this new location, which is part of the Eaton fire impact.
Oatmeal is
And
done.
with her coming up shortly, we want to go out to our Carlos Herrera, who's live once again at the Eaton fire location, giving us the latest from the ground. Still bad. Good morning.
Yeah, not getting any better, worse here in Altadena, specifically this stretch of Allen Avenue. This is Homewood Drive, one of many homes that is now burning here in this. You can see it there. Firefighters were here earlier. They're now deciding to let it burn. Part of the concern here is having the roof collapse. We did see, sadly, inside the house, a family portrait falling to the ground. Very dramatic, at least to see it from here. You can only imagine how devastated the family is going to be when they see that their house is up in flames and will likely burn to the ground. Behind this house, about 5 or 6 other homes also burning. Firefighters deciding to let those burn as well. Again, you can hear the glass there breaking and a lot of pops in that area. Going back to Henry's point about the winds significantly tapering off here. Yes, we've noticed that, we felt it, and we've seen it as well. But that's not helping the situation because the wind is still strong here. We get those gusts coming up here, 20, 25, even 30 mile an hour here. And what they do is that they have embers flying around. What we see is them hopping stretches of roads. This here is Allen Avenue as you approach and keep moving north. And they burn properties here. This house also burned to the ground
So what you're looking at here is
3 a.m.
oatmeal,
Firefighters try to get here.
milk, butter, honey,
They weren't able to.
blueberries, raisins, banana,
Other side.
and peanut butter.
That's
And it might be my last meal.
vehicle. But over
Nah,
this side,
just kidding.
to my point about embers flying and hopping roads, you can see it there. This has happened in the last 5 minutes or so, where we had a wind gust come up and had embers flying horizontally, crossing the road, and starting spot fires.
I think this angle's pretty
We do
good,
see
right?
several LA County Fire Department units here staged in this area along Allen Avenue. It appears that this neighborhood has gotten the worst of it in the last 2 hours or so. They're staged here trying to protect property, trying to protect lives and homes, but there really isn't enough resources, enough manpower to do so.
Never know.
Yes.
Hey, Chadio. Yep, I gotta go work in this shit.
Sorry,
Yep.
checking on signal here, but this is Allen Avenue
It's
again.
gonna be a long day or a fast day. We'll see.
Just on this corner, 1, 2,
But yeah, we got chaos here.
5, 6, 7 homes.
Cool.
7 homes in just this stretch of Allen Avenue that are damaged or
Yeah.
destroyed. Things are not going to be improving. Yes, the winds will taper off through 10 a.m.
Not here. They're gonna get
But
worse here.
The wind is still there. Gusts are still popping up, and we get those embers flying. I spoke with an LA County Fire Department firefighter just a few minutes ago before getting on air. And I asked him, hey, what have you noticed? Have you been speaking to residents?
He sounds out of
And he
breath.
said, what's really helping us, believe it or not, is that about 90 to 95%, you see, we gotta stop here, we do see down power lines and down trees, so we gotta stay here. But going back to that point, that LA County firefighter telling me, anywhere from 90 to 95% of residents who have been evacuated have decided to evacuate. They've left the area.
Winds or gusts are kicking in right now. Oh my God, Chadio, are you serious? Oh my God, dude. That's ridiculous. That's cold, dude. 9 degrees? Holy shit. Yeah, the wind's still here. It just big gust just kicked in. That's why I turned the TV off. So you guys can hear it. At least it's not freezing here like that. It's just super windy and got fires everywhere. I'll turn the TV back on as soon as the wind gusts stop. Oh my God, Chadio. That's I'd rather have what we have going on here than that shit. Oh my God, it's freezing and snow. Ugh. That's rough, dude. That's rough, man. Yeah. Shit, man. Maybe you should go live and we'll watch you. Shit, you got it worse than I do. All right, sounds like the gust stopped. All right. Man, that's rough, Chadio. Yeah.
You know, there hasn't been daylight to get a
That
real
sucks,
sense
Chadio.
of
That's
what exactly
That's
has
severe.
been destroyed and what hasn't been destroyed. 8 a.m. this morning is when we're going to hear from fire officials. They're hoping by that time we're going to have more of a sense of the exact numbers and the exact communities.
And I'm going to say them. We don't know the status of these
Wow.
restaurants, but there's 2 in particular along PCH that people are really curious about: Gladstone's and Duke's. We don't know the status of those restaurants. People are they're iconic,
Yes.
you know, in Southern California. So we're very concerned. We want to find out, in addition to the homes that people have lost, these iconic locations that people are so very familiar with. If you drive PCH, you know them.
Rosenthal's is a very popular wine tasting restaurant that was destroyed. According to LA Times reported that. They had photos of it. So I just have this feeling this is going to be quite devastating. Yes.
And here's the thing.
This is already
Technically,
devastating. It's going to be a whole nother level.
exactly. Technically, the sun comes up right around 7 o'clock, but as you know, the daylight peaks before that. So really in the coming minutes, and you can already kind of tell it's getting lighter out there, aside from the flames making it lighter, but literally, we're gonna know in the next few minutes, we're just gonna have just a heartbreaking look at what's going on. And we still can't fly yet to give you an aerial view because of the wind and the flight restrictions. All right, here's video that shows the time.
Joe Biden's in town, so they have flight restrictions during all
You
this.
can really get a sense of everything. This was taken near Sunset Boulevard over a period of many hours. You can just see how the flames build, the smoke builds, and especially this is facing east. So you can see how the wind is blowing west or southwest, if you will. It's just crazy.
All right, we want to go back out live to our Megan Tellis, who is live in the Sierra Madre area with Elisa Eaton Fire there. You can see talking to firefighters there. Megan, what's the latest?
All right, well, we're here at the corner of Carter and Baldwin. This is what I was saying moments ago. You just swoop over here, you can see the flames.
I gotta go work in this shit all day.
About 10 minutes ago. That's a new community up here in Sierra Madre, so there are a lot of homes that were about to be built, a lot of the lumber on fire up there. There are different fire crews of 2 that I'm seeing at every corner. When I was
You
up
can
there,
say it's
we actually
chaos
saw
right now.
deer coming right in front of us and scoot away. So you have to think about the wildlife and what it's doing to the wildlife this morning. But back to the crews, they're stationed in separate pockets so that if small fires pop up,
I have to remember my mask today, man, 'cause there's a lot of shit in the air.
And on that note, if you come over here, this house here, you can tell someone does a people, a family, who knows who lives here at this corner of, again, Baldwin and Carter. But there was a small fire that started just beyond this tree here. We saw it, firefighters are here, and we were like, we see this, and they came over, and within 3 minutes, they put it out, and that's exactly what they're doing. I had just asked them, we grabbed my phone here because I hear this truck is possibly about to get up, and my phone's on there, but these firefighters here all night. They're monitoring the scene, making sure here in Sierra Madre, all these evacuations in order, with all of these schools that are shut down, that everyone does remain safe. This is Arcadia Fire Department. I just spoke to one woman who is leaving in her vehicle, asked if she could be on air. She's like, no. Sort of in a panic, she had to go. She works for emergency services down here, Sierra Madre, Altadena, Pasadena. But she did tell me what it looks like up the way where she lives. Her family has evacuated. She went back to get some things, and she discovered that the house behind her had burned down. To the side of her was on fire, but her home was okay at that moment. But if you come over here, you can just see it's because the embers are flying from every which way. That these small fires keep popping up again, like this one in this neighborhood. Let me see if this gentleman here can say something. Hello, sir. How long have you been a resident here?
Long time.
Long time? Is this the worst you've seen? Pardon?
Yeah.
Yeah? And for you, have you evacuated from your home?
Oh yeah, we evacuated. I just got back.
Okay. Everything okay with your house? Yeah, he says everything's okay. Obviously covered up there. But there's his vehicle right there. You know, people, it seems to me that's what they're doing. They evacuated last night when the winds were really bad. I had my family out in the Inland Empire, Rancho Cucamonga, Montana. My mom's saying this morning, winds are terrible, the worst they've ever been, and we've been there most of our lives. And I'll say it's kind of eerie right now, Chris and May. You've been here in Sierra Madre. It's not windy. It's not windy at all. I did speak to some firefighters, and he said around 4:30 this morning that here in Sierra Madre the winds were pretty bad. There was a house that was, the perimeter around it was going up in flames, and so they put that out. But he says right now it is quiet. They seem to have everything under control. 2,200 acres burned, more than that. At this hour, we're talking about the Eaton Fire, Sierra Madre, Pasadena, Altadena. Carlos Herrera also on this.
Orange County's next.
I am. But this is the scene out here. Sort of, things are calm until they're not. And in which case, firefighters are here to put out these small fires. This is the second resident I've seen this morning who seems to be doing all right. But again, this is a scary situation for all. So we wish everyone lots of luck as they wake up this morning. I know, Chris, you've been mentioning the sun will be coming up around 7 o'clock. That will be an interesting sight. So you can see out here in the distance, the sun is starting to come up there. We'll get a better idea as to all the damage done. But that is the very latest. We're right here in Sierra Madre at the corner of Carter and Baldwin. Firefighters taking off now. Seems like they've done their thing here on this corner. So we're going to continue to chase this fire. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Megan Tillis reporting live from the Eden fire in that particular
So they
location.
basically
We have
chased the
multiple
fire trucks
reporters
around.
and multiple
That's what she
fires.
just
Let's go
said,
back now to
basically.
the Palisades fire, the Pacific Palisades fire, where Eric Spillman has been live. Eric, you're providing us with some of the most devastating images we've seen from this entire situation. What's the latest from your location, and exactly where are you?
We're on Ocampo Drive near Pampas Ricas in the Huntington Palisades section of Pacific Palisades. And this fire, which has been burning since 10:30 yesterday morning, just carving a trail of destruction here. So many homes destroyed,
Wow.
so many burned
That
to the
motherfucker
ground.
burned
This
to
is
the
an
ground,
example.
dude.
And you see,
Damn,
for
that was a
example,
mansion, too.
what it's left behind. This was somebody's basketball hoop here that burned. The home completely gone. Come on over here, and I'll show you. This is, believe it or not, is a car.
Whoa.
That was, I mean, it's,
That ain't no car anymore. Shit. That's nothing.
it must have gotten so hot for
Wow.
us not to be able to see anything that remains
Yeah.
of it, or very little of it, just the shell of the car. Come on down, let's take a walk down the street where more homes here are on fire. Here's another one where only the chimney is standing. It has burned to the ground. And
Yeah,
in this
that's gnarly.
neighborhood, on this street, from my vantage point, I want to say at least 15 or 20 homes that I can see from where I'm standing are either burning now or have burned to the ground. And here
Here
we
comes the
have,
wind gust. All right.
there's so many
I'm
efforts
fat
from
from
so
this
many
angle,
different
man.
sources here, trees and homes. And you see, for example, here, this is what's going on here. This house fully engulfed. Look at how high those embers go into the sky.
Yep.
It's almost
Gonna be a
like
long
no
day,
matter
dude.
what, there's an explosion, because every so often you hear when these
All right.
homes
It's
are
Friday.
going up,
Friday.
you hear building materials heated to a particular point, or maybe it's a propane tank or something, but it just explodes. And here, another house. I mean, you can't even count the number of homes that are going up in flames right now in this neighborhood. And firefighters are doing the best they can. These are from Pasadena, these firefighters. They're doing the best they can. There's another explosion. Something else blew up inside there.
Wow.
And they're doing the best they can, but with these winds, I mean, they're just ridiculous. And at some points it seems like it's calm, and you say to yourself, well, maybe it's calming down. But it's not, because then the gusts resume again.
Yep.
And
On and off. On and off.
you know, you get 50-mile-an-hour gusts of wind, and there's just not a whole lot you can do. And this situation here just demonstrates how frustrating and difficult and almost impossible it is to fight a
Freaking
fire
mansion just burning to the ground,
like
dude.
this. I mean,
Mansion.
look in the sky here down the street. Just nothing but embers. You know, there's so many. Look at how high they go. It's a
Kind of
cloud
weird how
of
it's all
embers
these
that
mansions
flies.
burning down.
You know, do
All
you
these
think
expensive
that
homes.
with these embers flying over that in that direction across the street, do you think that house over there has a chance? I mean, I don't. I mean, you can see the embers landing on it. So, you know, the firefighters, and these firefighters are from Downey and Pasadena and various other communities. We've seen people all the way from San Luis Obispo. They're doing
It's
the
like
best
raining.
they can. When you have winds,
It's raining
of this
embers,
magnitude,
literally.
and thankfully we don't have them very often. I mean, this is a once in every 11-year event or so. There's just not a whole lot you can do. Thankfully, in this neighborhood, we've not seen any residents at all. They've all heeded the warnings. They've gotten out of here. They've understood that the safest thing to do is to
Hope they made their
go
last
somewhere else.
homeowners
They come
insurance
back,
payment.
and they will eventually, and they see the amount of destruction here, it's just gonna be very, very, very sad. Because this
Look at that
was
fucking
one of
house.
the loveliest
Holy
neighborhoods in Pacific Palisades, and the homes here are extremely beautiful and expensive, and many of them are gone. So as we
That's
watch
pretty
yet
rough,
another
man.
home, I mean, we've seen countless homes burning so far this morning, and I don't even know, we haven't really traveled around a whole lot this morning to really gauge, you know, or count how many have burned. There's another explosion. There's another one. So it's hard to know the scope of this disaster. But if you game it out and you say to yourself, well, what I saw in this one neighborhood, if anything like this is similar throughout this community, then this is really, really terrible. And you know, it's a huge, huge loss. And again, we can't quantify it because there's no way the fire officials haven't had time to look at this and go around these neighborhoods and accurately count and figure out what the damage is. They're busy trying to prevent it from spreading to the homes that did survive. And putting a lot of water on this, but it's with these weather conditions, it's just sort of pointless almost. I did talk to one fire captain from San Luis Obispo County who said that he and his crew have managed to save a number of homes. So,
Nope.
there's that. It's not
Nothing
easy,
can
it's
stop it.
frustrating, but they have had some success. Unfortunately, you take a look at this, and
A nice rain would really help.
And the foundation,
But that's not gonna happen.
and the one next door.
We haven't had rain here in almost a
to look
year.
like this, and same with the one across the street. That's the latest from Ocampo Drive near
Yep.
Pampas Ricas in Pacific Palisades. We'll send it back to you.
It's heartbreaking. Thank you, Eric. We appreciate it. We'll see you in a little bit. We want to go out to Annie
I
Rose.
hope I have a
Ramos.
home to
She
come
is
home
covering the
to after
fire
work.
for us.
Shit.
Live on the ground with the latest situation there. Annie Rose, good morning.
Hey guys, good morning to you. We are over on the border of Altadena and La Cañada, just off of Altadena Drive. We are standing on Lincoln Avenue, and you can see sort of the flames coming towards us on this side. There's a man here on the left side of me who is calling his boss because apparently there is a landscaping firm up there, and his truck is there. He says it's full with gasoline. He's very concerned that it could blow up. We have been hearing explosions and popping all morning long. Dan, if you come over here, you can see the sheriff's department. This area under mandatory evacuation, people have been coming
Yeah, it looks like
to
hell.
try
dude.
and check back on their homes. And the sheriff's department saying you are not allowed in here. He actually just drove down from the street up here on the top of Lincoln Avenue where you can see these flames, and he said it is undrivable. He did say that fire engines are up there trying to fight this fire, so you can see it moving down the street towards us. However, he said there are down power lines that have exploded. There are down trees that caught on fire and are blocking the road.
Yeah.
And that's actually
Oh,
what
yeah,
happened
man.
here over this part of the street. I don't know if you can see there on the bottom. Oh, there's explosions there that you just heard because this fire is now sort of spreading to this block into some of these homes, and there's explosion after explosion. But what happened when we drove up is one of the power lines that was down kind of caught onto a tree, brought down a tree, and then that tree fell down, caught on fire, and completely blocked the road. One woman drove up here just a couple of minutes ago. Her dogs were in the car barking. She
Oh,
said her
poor
husband
doggy.
is in their home just around the corner in this block. She's very
Okay, I'm
concerned.
gonna put the
sheriff
live stream
blocking
on
her
the
from
TV
going any
while I
further
take a
because,
shower, so
I mean,
there's
look
something
at
to
the road.
look
You
at.
just can't drive any further up it. It's incredibly
You guys don't want to
dangerous
watch
in
me
this
take a
area,
shower, that's
and
for
it
sure.
seems to be moving down toward this direction. Just to give you a little bit of perspective as to where we are. Oh, look over here. Dan, look over here. See the wind with the embers just pulling it all over here into this driveway. And all it takes is some of those embers going to some of those bushes here, and then it spreads down the road. But to give you a little bit of perspective as to where we are right here, this road is Lincoln Avenue, and we are just coming a couple blocks over from JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratories. That is a huge place for a lot of Pasadenans, for a lot of La Cañadans who know what this area, JPL, that
About the
area
best I can
is
do.
just
I'll
a
be
couple
back.
of blocks away.
And so this fire really impacting all of the area. La Cañada now under a mandatory evacuations. When we drove off of the freeway here on the 210, it was incredibly busy, just with people evacuating. The signals, the power is completely out. So folks could not see. Take a look at this. See, there you go. The wind picking up with all those embers, just blowing that right into this driveway. And you know that one sort of ember getting into some of the roofs, getting onto the bushes, and then you have a whole other fire. And that's just simply how it spreads. And look over here, Dan. Look over here. You see that fire coming down. And again, that woman who drove up with the dogs in her back car, very concerned for her husband, who is still in her
Andy
still
Rose,
in their home up the street.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the question we're all having is, have you seen any firefighters in this area? I mean, we know how stretched thin that they are, and that's an indication of what is happening right now in so many areas, and that is what is so incredibly scary. Is that, you know, I'm sure the firefighters don't even know about this situation happening right now. We need you to be very safe, by the way, please. We can hear the explosions happening all around you. Oh, we see a firefighter.
I mean, you can
there.
see, look,
Oh,
there's
no,
a
that's
person
you.
right here.
I
who
swear,
just
I thought that was
drove
a
up.
firefighter. I'm like, oh no, that's Andy
No,
Rose.
this is me.
Oh.
No, you can see people driving up this road and then seeing it's impassable and turning around and going back down. The sheriff was here for a little bit, but he had to go and respond to another area up here. He said, which is hard to believe, that engines are up this road. But again, really hard to believe when you look at this road and you see how much fire is blazing down it. It's hard to believe that there are engines further up it, but that is what he told us, and that is what he told the concerned citizens who are driving up here trying to get through, to get to their home, to get to some of their things, some of their belongings that they wanted to evacuate. They just never thought that it would actually spread to this area. Again, right where, you know, Altadena sort of bleeds into La Cañada. I mean, I grew up in this area. It's incredible to believe just by JPL that this is where it has spread to. And I think a lot of the folks that we have been running into on this road who are trying to get back to their homes, to get to their belongings, were just shocked that it actually spread this far and this fast. And I know we've been hearing that all morning long, but Megan, to answer your question, not one single fire engine have we seen. We have been in this area for about 35 minutes now. We have only seen 2 sheriff's deputies, and he was doing all he could to just keep people from coming up this road. He said, please don't go up there. And then he was like, but I have to go. And so he had to go and respond to a whole different area. And so really resources so incredibly spread thin here as we just see this fire continue to spread as it heads towards La Cañada, which is why that is under a now mandatory evacuation.
And anyways, we need to mention that firefighters, you know, they mentioned to us earlier, they have a system on how they prioritize the areas that they're in. So again, they are stretched so thin. There's a reason why they choose to go to this area versus that area, but it is still just...
It's whack-a-mole. They can't be everywhere.
Exactly.
And these embers go for up to a mile, they tell us, and you just can't keep up with it. They can do their very best, which they clearly are doing.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just a no-win situation, and they're.
And look, you see there those embers spreading to those trees just behind me, as you said, Chris. To your point, it just spread to those trees, and we're hearing more explosions, and so that is how it goes. It's just block by block by block.
We're gonna bring Henry in because I'm so curious about where the winds are at right now.
And also, do you need a mask, Annie Rose? Do you feel safe? Are you okay breathing?
Chris, I thank you. I'm going to get a mask right now.
Let's go get a mask.
We never saw it.
Go do that. We're going to bring Henry in and get a sense of these winds because obviously that's the big issue here.
Winds are an issue, and that's been the main focus of concern, rightfully so, especially where we're seeing the fires that are just, it's so tough to watch. And to see here in Pacific Palisades, also Altadena and parts of Sylmar that have been affected as well. For me, it's frustrating because, you know, like many, I watched coverage all day yesterday, watched coverage into the evening hours. And, you know, my job is to give out information, not just regurgitate information. And we've been really hyper-focused on winds, and rightfully so, because the winds have been, winds that we don't see here. I mean, these are decade winds. Now, we had been warned about the possibility of this. I knew we were in trouble yesterday at 9 o'clock in the morning when a cold front blew through and it almost looked as if it was a storm. We had what was to be trace amounts of snow in the mountains that ended up being 5 inches of snow, rainfall. So what that said was that cold air that was already planned to be here that would be fueling these offshore winds really was even colder than anticipated. So this tells us this system lived up to the hype, without question. Now the winds are the issue as we're looking at various parts of Southern California. So we've been hyper-focused on winds, and it's great to see Carlos and Annie Rose and Eric talking about the winds tapering off a little bit in those areas. But for other surrounding areas, this is not a magic elixir. This is not a turn on, turn off switch. Yes, it's great for those areas. It will be great for firefighters. They will be able to get a better handle on things. But the winds are not effectively just dying out. They are shifting. So now my main point of focus is going to be for those of you in through Riverside, San Bernardino, Orange County, as we look at Carlos's shot here, and I'll wrap this up here.
Yeah,
And
This
just
is Carlos Herrera's shot.
exactly.
In Orange County.
okay, and you can see the wind. So we know that the winds overall are starting to relax in these areas, but we're still seeing gusts. We're going to see this. We still have a wind event all the way into the afternoon and into the evening. So when we're talking about winds of 60, 70, 80 miles per hour that are tapering off, and we see wind speeds start to go down, and we start saying, okay, things are better. We're still dealing with 30, 40, 50 mile per hour winds into the afternoon that are shifting, and those would be dangerous winds on its own. So we're looking at such a high number, and we're looking at it decreasing and feeling better. And my point in saying this, these winds are not effectively shutting off. They are shifting. They are moving
Now
off
you won't
towards
see
the
me
east.
run by naked.
Those of you in through Santa Barbara, you can start feeling a lot better. Those of you in through Ventura County, you can start feeling a little bit better.
Henry,
But
that's a live shot to the left, right?
that is a live shot from Carlos Herrera, and it is just a blazing shot there.
The Eden fire.
The Eaton fire. My point as I wrap this up, Altadena, excuse me. If you are in Orange County, Riverside, San Bernardino County, where things have been windy, but obviously we don't have any active fires as of this point, you're in places like Temecula, Laguna Hills, Silverado Canyon, Anaheim Hills, Rancho Cucamonga, Brea Canyon, Norco, places where we know we get windy conditions. These winds are just shifting. They are just, this system is just a slow moving system, and it's taking this energy and it's dragging it off to the east. It's not until we get these systems to break apart, relax a little bit, and the winds taper off.
When do you think that will be?
That is
We say, okay, we're done with this wind event.
And that is the issue, because we're looking at a timeline. So I can tell you by 10 o'clock this morning, things in through LA County will be effectively much better. Does it mean the winds are going to stop completely? No, it doesn't. But it does mean that we'll start to see some stronger wind gusts in through Orange County, the Inland Empire. They've already been strong in those areas. And the threat of fires is going to be a big concern into the afternoon, because we're just tracking the winds as it moves slowly off towards the
warning
east.
was extended till, was 6 p.m. tonight?
Was extended, because even if we go winds that get down to 30 miles to 35 miles per hour, yes, that's far greater than the 70 and 80 mile per hour winds, but there's still 30, 40 mile per hour winds that we know can, during Santa Ana conditions, can create a lot of
And we
problems.
would be making a big deal about those.
We would be
That's
making
the
a big
thing.
deal.
We're thinking, oh, things are better, but normally we'd be warning people as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so for me, I want my messaging to be different and give you something you could use, put your handle on. Yes, it is good news that effectively the winds will start to taper off in these areas, but that does not mean other areas should not be preparing, thinking about what they should do, the old, ready, set, go plan that we talk about. Just an hour ago, we told you about a fire. Now they're calling it the Tyler Fire, which is near Coachella. I am trying to follow up on a report that I have from one of our viewers out in the Anza area, just to the southeast of Temecula, who feels they're seeing flames.
Well, now we have a new fire in the Sepulveda Basin. It is the Woodley Fire, 75 acres. If you drive the 405, you're probably going to see it, or at least the smoke from it. So we have another new major fire.
Correct.
And this one's in the city.
And just to wrap a bow on what I'm trying to say and get to Megan's point, we are focused on when does the wind start to taper off. These winds are so strong that even the tapering off doesn't mean that we are effectively out of fire concerns. And so as a meteorologist, my job, I want to tell you what to expect, not just when these winds are going to start tapering off, but other areas. I want you, if you're sitting on your couch and you're looking at this and saying, oh, this is devastating, it's very windy, think about what you're going to do. We don't know where these can pop up. Chances are it's not going to be in your neighborhood, but people in Altadena didn't think it would be in their neighborhood. Pacific Palisades didn't think it would be in their neighborhood. We just don't know. And this is going to be an issue we're going to deal with through the better part of the day and through tomorrow. Maybe not the winds as strong, but the winds are still going to be a major force.
Right. All right, Henry, it's just amazing what we're dealing right now with Carlos Herrera. We saw his image. His shop is apparently frozen now, so we can't go to it. But we saw his shot from the Eaton fire, and it was just raging. Yet another home going up in flames.
Well, let's go over to Ginger Chan. Of course, a lot of commutes are going to be affected this morning. We were talking to some county officials a little bit earlier, fire officials earlier, saying, you know what, if you can stay home, please try to today. Just stay off the road so firefighters, so officials can get where they need to be.
And if you're an employer, cut people some grace.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we get it. You have a business to run. We all have jobs to do. But if there is a possibility, if they have the ability to let their employees work from home, this would be the day to do it.
Yeah, I would say so for sure. And we were on the road, all of us here, right, very early this morning, and there was so much debris that was kicking in and out of the lanes. And you also were talking about the ash that now was starting to build, and then the smoke. All of that a factor for why we suggest everybody to stay home. And then even the roads are going to be inaccessible. I mean, we're talking about, as you look at that 5 freeway, the arrow that is pointing in both directions. So we know both directions of the 5, the connectors to the 210 eastbound side remain closed here. So the 5 freeway in and of itself is still open and available, but you cannot continue into areas of Sylmar, Lakeview Terrace, along that 210 freeway, and that's all because of the fire that is burning there in that Sylmar area. We want to move you over to look at some other things. So because there were some evacuation orders that are now coming up, like we mentioned, the one off of Chevy Chase Canyon Drive, off of Emerald Isle in Glendale, we are seeing delays, whether it's on the streets. I have somebody telling me that Riverside Drive is packed with people trying to get out of the area, or they've been able to get out, but now they're utilizing main streets like Riverside Drive. In this case, we are also looking at the delays along the 170. I mean, you see it, we don't have anything in lanes. We have so many other things that we want to break down. We'll get back to those in a little bit, but for now, you guys, I'll send it back to you.
Ginger, thank you. We want to go back out to Carlos Herrera. He's with the Eaton fire all morning long. We just saw his live pictures of another home going up in flames, those strong winds. Oh, it's just really hard to see. Carlos, good morning.
It's just
It seems like his shot is frozen again. It's tough. There's a lot of elements going on at the same time. So, Carlos, it's unfrozen. Well, now it's frozen again. Can you hear us? All right. We'll get back to Carlos as soon as we can.
All right. The powerful winds making it very dangerous on the roads, really overnight, especially. Those high-profile vehicles, a lot of them affected in Fontana. 30 to 60 mile-per-hour winds caused several big rigs to overturn overnight, including a FedEx truck. It flipped on its side on Interstate 15 near Sierra Avenue. Several trucks also overturned on Interstate 210 near the I-15 interchange. Only minor injuries were reported in these cases, but it's a really good reminder that you're going to need to be extra cautious out on the road today in those strong winds.
In Los Feliz, winds knocking down a large tree. In fact, it did so on top of a moving car, cars plural, trapping the drivers inside. This happened on Hillhurst Avenue near Melbourne Street. Witnesses say a Jeep and a sedan were driving southbound when the tree and a power light pole came crashing down. Witnesses say Good Samaritans helped get the drivers out.
All right, go back over to Ginger Chan. Actually, no, let's tell you about this one first.
All right, also in Los Feliz, the strong winds toppling a big tree onto parked cars on New Hampshire Avenue. No one appears to have been injured. The city that have to come out and remove all of the downed trees say they expect to be extremely busy in the coming days, so they ask for patience.
All right, in Hollywood now, a power outage overnight left more than 2,200 customers in the dark in this area. The affected neighborhood is near the area of Vine Street and Franklin Avenue, just around Beechwood Canyon. Crews are working to restore power here. They are expected to have it back on about 8 this morning, but it was really a similar scene all across LA County overnight. According to the LADWP, about 130,000 of their customers are still without power. We also spoke with SoCal Edison, about 83,000 of their customers without power as well.
All right, what you're seeing right now is our camera positioned there at LAX pointing northward. And if you saw this same camera yesterday, the plume of smoke that was emanating throughout the LA basin was so incredible to see. But as daylight is starting to peek through, we're getting a better look. And right now it seems more like a hazy, thick, lingering smoke that is over the LA basin. You can't see the flames right now, but this is the live look from our camera from LAX pointing north. You can certainly see the plume.
Absolutely. We just got a report that Universal Studios Hollywood as well as City Walk will be closed today due to the air quality conditions as well as obviously the surrounding issues. So again, Universal Studios Hollywood, if you're planning a trip out there today, it will be closed. Let's go back to Ginger Chan with the latest on the roads.
Yeah, we really have so many things to cover. And so this is a situation where it's our understanding that about 75 acres have now burned in the Sepulveda Basin. You know, it is a spot where oftentimes when we have any kind of fire and then the roads will be closed here. So they didn't officially shut it down, but I believe, and it floods as well sometimes, right? I believe Burbank Boulevard will be closed moving through the Sepulveda Basin. So we're talking about that little pocket that sits between the 101 and that 405 freeways. You see the spot. But in addition to that, that will mean extra delays on both the 405 as well as the 101 freeways. People can see it. They can smell the smoke. And so I would stay away from this area if you can. I want to move into some of the other things that we have going on. This 91 westbound at Sierra Highway, at La Sierra Avenue is where we have this crash. They have all the lanes that are blocked here, and so you see it delays in both directions as a really tough spot to be able to get around it. So we have to be prepared for what's developed here. This is a look at a brand new signaler that is most definitely related to the strong winds. The 241, I mean, anytime you drive this stretch of the 241 and points farther to the north and closer to the 91, it can be really windy. So this is another situation with a big rig that is overturned. They're only saying one lane is blocked, but they're saying it could be a hard closure, so the closure could be in effect for a while. You may want to stay off of it for sure, because when we talk about strong winds here, as well as along the 261, I don't think that's a good idea to be on some of those roads. So we're kind of just tag teaming with what we talked about earlier with some of those other closures, whether it's the 5 and the 210, the 134 heading into Altadena, obviously the 10 freeway into Santa Monica. We'll keep track of all these things. A lot of new stuff now popping up, you guys. I'll send it back to you too.
All right, Ginger, thank you so much. Take a look at this. I know you're probably busy doing a lot of things right now, but just stop for 2 seconds and take a look at your TV. This is from our camera atop Mount Wilson, and below is that plume that's emanating, just really thrusting itself into the sky. This is from the Eaton fire, which is burning in the Altadena, Pasadena area. Henry, this is exactly
Well, here's the deal too. You're going to walk outside. We've been reporting in the dark for the past several hours, and what we keep saying and really keep trying to reiterate is that I think a lot of us are going to be extremely shocked and extremely saddened by what we see once daylight. Exactly, once daylight comes. And we want to mention, by the way, that fire officials are going to be meeting in LA County at 8 a.m. for a live report to hopefully give us the latest on the situation on all of these major fires and everything that's happening. But as you can see, it is just a very serious situation out there.
It's disturbing and shocking. Megan, tell us, you're at the Eaton fire with the latest.
Hi, Chris and Meg. Yeah, you guys were just talking about the plumes of smoke, and that's exactly what I'm looking at right now, the black plumes of smoke. I'll tell you, I've been here in this position for about 10 minutes, and it already has started to creep down just a bit. That is a home. It seems to be a home that is up in flames there, and trying to get up there. The one thing about Sierra Madre, one thing about this foothill community is that the roads are very narrow. Most times they're one way. Most times it's not even safe for our news van to get up there with the mask. And oftentimes, at least according to some of the firefighters I was speaking with at the last location, they can't even get up there because it is so tight. So this is what's happening right now. If you take a look around, you can see how tight-knit of a community this is in terms of homes stacked next to each other. This is right here in Sierra Madre. The sun is up now. We've talked a lot about how, Megan, you just said it, we've been reporting in the dark. since last night. And so as the sun comes up, we can sort of see the devastation much more. Very smoky in this area right now. It looks like the fire, and again, speaking with one of the firefighters, it is moving east. So Sierra Madre moving east. You can see that smoke going toward the east as well. But
You want the camera
winds
here, or
right now.
you want to
like
see
a
the room?
Slight breeze, but no winds
Like
to
that?
report in this
Or
moment,
back in the
which
corner?
is the ounce of good news, the silver lining in all of this. Those winds seem to have subsided at this point. And the experts I was speaking with earlier, they said around 4:30 this morning it was pretty bad. Homes were up in flames. They were able to save those homes. It seems as though these
All right.
neighborhoods are pretty quiet. People have all evacuated, heeded that evacuation order, thankfully. And you hope that whatever is burning right now, that home up there on the hilltop, that
There.
no one is in there.
Got the
that
room
everyone's
back.
taking the evacuation order
Yeah.
in this area. We see that there are different pockets of this neighborhood that have firefighters in them.
Hot
making
pocket.
sure that if flames kind of sprout up, that they put them out right away.
Clean up this
2,200
mess a little
acres
here.
burned. At this point, evacuations are in place for over 52,000 residents, we're learning, involving almost 21,000 structures. Evacuation warnings are in place for almost 47,000 residents in this Altadena, Pasadena, Sierra Madre area, involving more than 18,000 structures. We also know classes canceled today for schools in the Pasadena, Glendale, Alhambra, South Pass, San Marino, La Cañada, Burbank, Arcadia, and Monrovia Unified School Districts. That was about 1 hour ago when we got the confirmation of that, so we'll keep you updated as to what schools are out of session this morning, or at least what schools have been relocated. We do know that one of the structures that was destroyed in this Eaton fire so far was the Pasadena Jewish Temple and Center. Devastating for people to learn that this morning. This fire, if you've been watching the news overnight, we've been on the air, this fire broke out. This was last night around 6:30 in Altadena, initially reported at 10 acres. It erupted in no time to 200 acres burned, 400 acres burned by 8 p.m. And then again, more than 2,200 acres burned. Here we are, 7 o'clock, seconds away from 7 o'clock this morning. So as we continue to watch this hillside burn here, again, it looks like it's inching down, and firefighters did tell me that the fire would be moving eastbound at this point. We're here in Sierra Madre, quiet neighborhood at this point. Winds seem to have died down at this point. Frank and Jess, I know you're just starting the show, so I'll go ahead and send it to you for now, and we'll be back with you in just a bit.
Okay, Megan, we thank you for that. We
Okay.
are nearing here.
Oh,
our
stretch,
7 o'clock
okay.
hour, and if you're just waking up this
There.
morning, an
How's
unprecedented
that?
fire emergency in Southern California has caused catastrophic damage across LA County overnight. Multiple wildfires burning right now, including a new fire sparking within the past hour in the Sepulveda Basin.
Residents in Pacific Palisades and Malibu, parts of Pasadena, Altadena, Arcadia.
Well, I do these at home. All the rest I do in the gym
This
with
morning,
equipment.
the fires are being fanned
But
by.
this upper back like that, I can do that
gusts
shit right
over
here.
80 miles an
You know,
hour in
man.
some spots. 1,400 firefighters are
Yeah, those
battling the
therapy
flames
bands
on
are
the
pretty
ground.
cool,
The use
dude,
of
really.
aircraft
They
halted
do
shortly
the job,
before 8
man.
o'clock
Like if
last
I can't
night
make it to the
due
gym,
winds.
right there, man, I can do all my body.
Multiple people have been burned
My whole
in the
body, dude, I
Palisades
can
fire.
do these things.
An estimated
Take
200,000
the strap like
homes
this,
and buildings
right?
are without power across LA
Put
County
your
right
hand
now.
like this, you
And
can do
there
your
are
chest.
dozens of school closures
That's
today
even-
because of the fires.
Yeah, I got
All
different
Santa
weights.
Monica
Here's a
and
lighter one.
Malibu schools will
Do
be
your chest
closed
like
due to
this.
the Palisades fire, and the Eaton and Hearst fires have led to the
Right.
closures of 18 school districts, including Alhambra, Arcadia, Azusa,
There you go, clock someone.
Duarte, Alani,
Got the
Glendale,
power.
La Cañada, Los Virgenes, Monrovia, Mountain
That's
View,
right.
Pasadena, Rosemead, San Marino, South Pasadena, Temple
You know
City,
what? You know what?
Los Angeles Unified School District.
You know what gets
has
the
closed
the
7
best
schools
results,
today. They
dude?
include Kenter,
I'll tell you what gets the best
Charter
results.
Elementary, Canyon Charter Elementary,
Consistency.
Marquez
Consistency,
Charter
man.
Elementary,
And
Palisades Charter
not giving
Elementary,
in to the
Boulder Beard
excuses
Charter Middle School,
to not go.
and
That's
Uni
what the
High.
trick really is.
LAUSD
And of course,
Superintendent
utilizing your
Albert
time in the
Carvalho
gym
has
when you're
heard
there,
several officials
not
speaking
in there
at a
sitting on your
Virgil
phone, right?
Carvalho,
Instead of working
speaking
out.
at a press
I
conference
see
at 8
people in
o'clock
there on
this
their
morning.
phones just sitting there on the equipment. And I'm like, dude, are you gonna use the equipment or not?
We also
If
have
you're
a
not,
list of college closures.
if you're just gonna sit there on your phone, get the fuck off.
Azusa Pacific
You know?
University, Glendale.
I go in there and I
Community
bust my shit out in
College,
half
City
hour, dude.
College, Caltech,
And I see them guys sitting in there for hours, just sitting there on their phones. Like, no wonder you ain't getting any gains, dude. You're working out on your thumb, not your fucking body.
Good morning, what's the latest?
You know what I mean?
Just keep getting worse for folks here in this area of Altadena. This is Mendocino Street. This neighborhood, at least in the last 30 minutes.
This is the hard part right here, bro. Right here. They need a baby. It's hard. I need to give birth and then it go away.
You see one of them here. We can count, as far as the eye can see, at least 8 on the western end of Mendocino Street. This
Hear
part
that?
is really getting hit hard. Over to the left, you can see Jose.
Take a listen. I'm just gonna leave the TV off because I'm fitting to go to work. I'll try to bring you guys with me though. Sounds like the wind's kind of calming a little bit, but I got a feeling it's the calm before the storm, actually. They said it's coming towards Orange County, so it's gonna be pretty gnarly, I bet. So let me get my belt. I'll shut this down, but I'll still have you guys there. Bring it with me and see if it stays on. See what kind of bullshit you gotta drive through to get to work. Definitely sounds like the winds have chilled out for a minute. Trains are running. They weren't running last night. I noticed no jets and no airplanes all night, but now it sounds like they just started. Let's see. Boom. Wallet. Keys. Sunglasses, gotta have those, right? Cell phone, my phony. Let me take a gander out here real quick. Looks like the winds chilled. Yeah, the winds are kind of chilling a little bit right now. That doesn't mean they're gonna stay like that. So I'll try to get some kind of camera set up in the truck so you guys can kind of see with me. We'll see how that goes though. Ugh. Expand that a little bit there. Okay. Listen to my creaky floors there. All right. I got a clean shirt at work. Drop that down. See, am I forgetting anything? I don't think so. It's probably going to be cold, but I'm just going to run to the truck. So if I lose you guys, it's because I lost the signal. So let's hope it doesn't do that. A quick walk around outside real quick. It's not that cold, at least. See what kind of damage we got out here. Oh, look at all the limes. I gotta pick those when I get off work. Well, at least it got all the limes off the tree. I don't see any damage though. Look at all these freaking limes, dude. I'll be picking those after work. Look at all the leaves, man. Okay. Looks like my rake is getting fucked up here. I'm gonna leave that flat. That. There. Yeah, everything looks intact. Everything looks okay. Yep. I'll have a lot of raking to do after, well, tomorrow. I'll wait till the winds are done. There's my scooter. Junker bike I need to throw away right there. Let's take a look at the front. Well, I got a couple pieces of grass that moved. Not too bad though. Just do that for now. Hopefully they're not blown away. Actually, I'll move them right now. I gotta anchor those down. The guy that installed my fake grass didn't anchor these pieces here. So I'll put them over here for now with the other pieces. All right, well, so far so good, man. Hopefully the stream stays with me. Now, if I can get this camera set up, if not, maybe I'll just hold it. It's not that cold. It says it's 62 degrees out right now. So, let me see here. What can I do? What can I do, Raphael? Maybe this will work, huh? Yeah? I'll just hold it. Yeah! That'll work, huh? How's that, man? Cool? Well, maybe not, but we shall see. Little top heavy. I'll hold it. Alright. I'll hold it. I don't need my sunglasses on right now. Oh shit, Raphael. I gotta get a mask, dude. Hang on, I'll be right back. I gotta have a mask in this kind of weather. Alright. Q. Alright, I got my mask. Because that's very important if you don't want to get sick, man. Because there's all kinds of crap in that air right now. Alright, well, if the stream stops, it's because I'm not getting a signal. So I'll just keep you here as long as I can until I get to work. All right, let's see what kind of damage we're going to be driving through here. I'm just going to hold the camera a little bit. So if it dies, I'll catch you all later, all right? In the meantime, enjoy the ride. Okay? Sorry. All right, let's go. Let's go, kids. Can you see yourself in the mirror? Yeah. It's like on an adventure. We're on an adventure, huh? Right. Well, everything looks okay so far. All right, Raphael. Thanks for understanding, bro. It might stay on though. We shall see, right? Oh shit, there's some, ooh, someone lost their fucking roof, it looks like. Look at this shit over here, dude. Yep, someone lost their shit. Right there, dude. Look at this. Oh boy, no good. No good. Oh man, their whole roof collapsed, dude. Dang, no good, man, no good. Did you see that shit? Look at my headliner. Fucking thing's falling down. Damn, well, they're gonna have a rough day. I see roof, Pete, yo. It's serious, dude. It's some serious shit. Dang, man. All right. Whoa, look at all the trees down. I don't know if you can see that. Look at all the trees down. Shit. All right, this side looks okay. Looks like the stream's staying on so far. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I'm paying attention. What's up, girl? Yeah, put her in the tickler file. All right. Trees down back there. Down. Well, I'll tell you one thing, the landscapers are going to be busy for a while. It's not as bad as I don't know, that was pretty bad back there. That was pretty bad. Looks okay up here though. There's a bush. Well, someone just cut that weird. The birds are freaking out. Wonder how my crow friends are doing at work. Probably fucking wigging, man. The wind's chill right now, it seems like. Well, there's a crow. He's trying to get food. Of course, that's what they do. Right? Hopefully it's not too bad. I'm sure there's some shit though. I'm sure I'm going to be stepping into something when I get there. You know? All right. Pay attention to the road, Mr. William. It's embarrassing. Freaking headliner coming down. There, how's that? Looks like a new car now, huh? What's up, lady? All right. Faux show, man. Let's see what time it is. 7:14. So we're making good time. I'll be there on time unless there's some kind of roadblock up here. But so far everything looks okay, minus what happened back there, the person losing their roof. Oh, El Polo Loco's got some kind of deal going on their roof over there. I'm guessing like at work we probably got down light poles because there was one down yesterday, and the winds are a lot harder last night, so I'm sure we're gonna have some of those down. Yeah, the roof at El Polo Loco has got something going on there. Looks like it's something hanging off. Oh, it's one of their deals now. I was gonna say that shouldn't do that. So far, not too bad, not too bad. There's some branches on the ground over there. Well, the day laborers are probably going to be busy. I see police lights up there. All right, there's something going on up there. Yeah, not too bad, right? Not too bad. Not as bad as I thought. I thought it was gonna be worse, but you know, here in California they build shit pretty good, I guess. Knock on wood. Yeah. But we're getting ready to get like some really hard gusts here in Orange County again, so hopefully everything stays good at my pad. Yeah, it's coming our way though, Orange County. That's what they said on the news. Oh, this guy in this bitch is probably having fun. Shit. Oh, one of the street signs fell down there off to my left. Off to the left. Street sign dangling. You can see the white work truck right over there by the cop. This thing's got a pretty wide angle on it, huh? Let me get my sunglasses on. Get ready to drive into the sun. There. It's Friday, Friday. Here, let's listen to some news.
When fire starts, KFI doesn't stop. Stay with KFI AM 640.
More stimulating
Hell yeah.
talk.
KFI AM 640, Bill Handel here. It is a Wednesday morning, January 8th. Of course, we're spending the morning talking about the fires all over Southern California. This just insane confluence or confluence of wind and vegetation, kindling, if you will, fuel, no humidity, put it all together, and we've got major fire issues going on, which we knew about it in advance, days in advance. Coming up, and I think, it's 7:50, we've got Chuck Lubbers. Chuck is a friend of mine, 30 years, LA County Fire, and he would be on that fire line right now if he had not retired. So we're going to get a lot of inside baseball coming up in just a few moments. In the meantime, Michael Monks, KFI's Michael Monks, is at the Westwood Recreational Center. Do I have that right, Michael?
You do, Bill. This is one of the centers that's been set up for people who have evacuated from the fire in the Palisades. And I can tell you that just right here in this small piece of the world, the sky above us is quite a group. You got a significant contrast. There's blue skies to my right, beautiful California sky, and then to my left, it's dark, gray, cloudy, smoky. The wind is blowing. It feels ominous. It almost feels funereal here. There is certainly a ghastly pallor that's hanging over people here as they wonder what may be left of homes or what's still left to come in the Palisades. And I can tell you this feels a lot different than the evacuation center I visited not that long ago when Malibu was burning, where people did show up for a little while, but there was a lot of optimism that this is going to pass and we'll be going back home. This one definitely has more of a sense of dread and concern.
How many people are there?
Shit.
I could not get a specific account from the fire department that's here operating this shelter, but there are dozens. And there are folks who are sleeping. So they have a gym here, and that gym is currently closed unless you're going in there to sleep. So they've got all the cots set up, and there are definitely people sleeping in there. A lot of cars are here, and I'm also seeing a lot of seniors, a lot of folks using walkers, using wheelchairs. There are a lot of pet owners here, so people are
with their pets.
With their pets. So people are with their pets, they're walking their dogs. And I did speak to a guy who was here. He came down from the Palisades. He was waiting it out at first, he said, until about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. It wasn't the lapping of the flames that pushed him out. It was simply the air quality when he thought, I've got to get going.
That's right.
Plus the traffic that was starting to build on the roads. I mean, if you live there, you can see it building. He said, I better get in that line right now before it gets worse. And said he made it out just before that clog from all the cars that had to be left behind. So he's not sure what's going on in his neighborhood. And, you know, we know the firefighters are there doing their best, but it's difficult to get a full account now that the sun is coming up and hopefully the winds die down. Maybe we'll get better visuals of what's going on.
So far,
I'm
everything looks
assuming
okay,
a lot of
man.
those people
It's not too bad.
have absolutely no idea as to whether their homes have survived or not. And
That's
I
what
would
I'm getting at, yeah. I mean,
I
people
would
have,
be scrambling, and I'm assuming people are asking everybody and anybody. Is there any reporting of neighborhoods that have gone down, how people are dealing with it? And I know it's kind of rough throwing a microphone in front of someone's face. Hey, how you feeling? Your family just died. You know, I know how stupid that is, but talk a little bit about what the conversation is if you've heard it and what the concerns are.
Right. People have been a little hesitant to talk formally to me, but they are talking to me in background, basically, and then I can relay their stories a little bit. So hopefully I'll find some people who can, you know, it is difficult to go up to them, especially with it still going on and they don't know exactly what's happening.
I'd be like shouting out my channel.
I did just see a family walk past here with 2 young kids.
Yeah,
and,
check me out,
it looked like one of the kids
PG-13
was
Billhound
holding
Show,
one of
man.
those
Hell
pet
yeah,
boxes,
subscribe,
you know,
like
with
the
a pet
videos,
inside. So I
and
mean,
don't forget to hit
everybody
the little
was
bell for
completely
notifications.
disrupted. So you have that going on with the looming uncertainty of what's happening in your neighborhood. But one of the gentlemen that I spoke to says another guy he knows has not been able to get in touch with his elderly
Shit,
parents.
I'd probably get thousands of subs if I got shouted out on the local news, right? Shit, I get monetized instantly.
It's difficult, you know, when we think of all the technology that we have, if it becomes unavailable and you can't get somewhere, then you're left with that word.
Look at the hangar, see the blimp hangar up there?
In Westwood,
right where the sun is, man.
Center, as they wait for word.
It's the biggest wood structure on the planet. You can see it.
Information either coming from officials or even following the fire on social media.
Right behind the, right in front of the sun right now.
You know for sure.
I don't know if you can see it
that's
yet.
what I think everybody just wants to know here is what's happening on their block.
All right, in terms of setting the center up, are they bringing in kitchens, food trucks? Are they looking at staying there for a number of days, or does it feel very temporary that they're up and out of there in the next day or two?
Zone.
I mean, this is a rec center, so it's a solid structure.
There it
they
is.
Just bring in the cots,
There's
they bring
the
in
structure.
some seating, and they do bring in some food to get when they need it. I did notice a sign that says, please bring donations here. So take your donations if people are soliciting that. Make sure you're finding reputable donation sites to drop off. It's not the evacuation centers that want any of that.
Okay.
So they are bringing in what they need and not anything beyond that. But I can tell you the cots are being used. I've seen a lot of people, you know, munching and standing around having some coffee.
I'm glad I didn't call in sick.
Just waiting for word for.
I'm glad I didn't call in sick. I was thinking about calling off because I was worried, you know, but it looks like it's kind of calmed down. It's going to start picking up again, but I think I'm going to be okay. I think I'm going to be okay. I don't know about where I work, but I'll be okay. Am I? Well, we're almost here, man. I made good time. I'm being a good employee. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, the wind's calm right now, actually. The wind's pretty calm. It's just a little bit breezy. You can see the palm trees, they're barely moving. So we're on a little bit of a break right now, but I don't see a whole lot of damage, to be honest. I mean, it's looking pretty damn good considering how powerful gusts we had all night, you know. But I haven't got on the property yet either, so, you know. Meow. Come on, you freaking light. Let's go. There we go. I just slobbered on myself. Yay. All right. Well, we'll see nothing yet. So far, so good, man. Actually, I'm gonna park over here, away from the light poles. Smart, huh? Away from the trees and away from the light poles. Okay, there's one over there. I'd say right here would be a good spot. So you gotta think ahead, man. You gotta use your brain sometimes. You know, don't park by a down light pole that can fall and crush your freaking car, dude. You know what I mean? Oops, just dropped you. Sorry. But I'm here. I made it. Made it. Whoa, stay there. All right. Well, what time is it? Oh. Let me look. I might be a little early. I was giving myself a little extra time today. Yeah, no, it's time. All right, dudes, dudettes. I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream because I'm at work and got to handle shiz. But I don't see nothing major so far here, so that's a good sign. Yeah, I think we're going to be okay. I don't see no major damage right now, so stay tuned. We got some more action coming our way, apparently, according to the news. We're going to have some 70 to 80 mile an hour gust again here, but I'll be at work this time. There's the police over there. I see one down there too. That's a good sign. All right, guys, we'll catch y'all later, man. And I might go live from work later. I don't know yet. We'll see. If anything, I'll post up on Facebook. So we'll catch y'all later. Catch you later, Raphael, Sammy, Chadio. Thanks for stopping by. And stay tuned. All right. See ya.